Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Docu Projections. My name is Lucas, and I have Eric here as always.
Hey guys.
And today we'll be taking a look at Kamala Harris's chances of becoming vice president. We're going to keep this like kind of a neutral video. We'll give you all the information, and you guys can make your judgment yourself here. We'll give you the background, predicted markets, the regional advantages, and polling for who people think should be vice president. And with that being said, let's get right into it. All right, I hope you guys liked the new intro. It took some time this afternoon to make that. But anyways, now on to Kamala Harris. Let's give some background here. She was formerly the Attorney General of California before she became senator from California. I'll talk about the baggage that she's picked up. She's actually left behind there.
It's quite significant.
Yeah, quite significant after I continue with this information here. She is currently a senator from the state of California, relatively new. She was elected in 2016 and was sworn in 2017. Just like Biden, she's a moderate, but she is slightly more to the left of him. What's her chance of getting chosen? In our opinions, pretty likely.
Yeah.
She's well experienced, relatively close friends with Biden. Although I will say, when she ran for president in 2020 in the Democratic primary, yes, she was a candidate. She ran for president. She attacked Biden out of the gate very aggressively towards Joe Biden.
Let's just say it was quite competitive, and she was very, she raised her voice on him, called Joe Biden out for busing policies and opposing them. So it was, it was pretty competitive and heated on the debate floor. Now she's probably going to be as nice as possible to become the VP. Well, that's
Agreed.
how politics works.
It is. Additionally, as I said before, she did run for president in 2020. She has a lot of name recognition. At her peak, she polled second in the primaries, which is pretty decent. I believe first was Joe Biden. So we do think that Kamala Harris, experience-wise, yes, is a really pretty solid pick for Joe Biden. Now, that's not the full story here. We're going to talk about baggage now. Kamala Harris served as Attorney General from she served until she was elected to the Senate in 2016. I'll give you guys some examples of the baggage that she was attacked for during the debates. If you guys remember, Tulsi Gabbard, who also ran for president, she's a current representative from the state of Hawaii. She ran for president during one of the debates, ripped Kamala Harris.
Absolutely grilled.
Yeah, for her record as a prosecutor. So there were many examples that Gabbard gave, but I'll give you guys two. So the first thing Gabbard said to Kamala Harris was that she blocked evidence that could have freed an innocent man until the courts forced her to do so. Obviously, that is not very good for Senator Harris. That will not look good on her. Additionally, Gabbard said that Kamala, quote, kept prisoners longer than their sentences to use them for cheap labor. Again, that's really not good. Joe Biden does not want that kind of baggage with him in the White House 100%. And I think a big issue, in my opinion, was that Kamala Harris didn't really react to these accusations very well. She kind of said that she
hesitated. Yeah.
She said she was proud of her record. I remember after the debate, she was saying like, something along the lines of that she's a top tier candidate and Gabbard isn't, or something like that.
She got very self-centered. Let's just put it like that.
Interesting. Yeah, so this baggage will definitely not look good on her. So the bigger issue is if she is chosen as the vice presidential nominee, she could be going up against, Mike Pence in a debate, and that would also not really look good for her if he continuously attacks her for her record. Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into that at the end of the video, where we compare this type of baggage to the other possible candidates for vice president. But now we're going to be taking a look at the predicted markets. So I'll give a brief synopsis, but Eric will take over after. For a very long time, Kamala Harris has led this race for This predicted market, for you guys that don't know what predicted is, it's this betting market where people spend their own money to kind of bet for things to happen. In this case, who will be the next vice presidential nominee. Again, throughout this race, Harris has led, but Susan Rice did pick up in recent days. Eric, why don't you take over?
Yeah, so again, as Lucas said, in first place, we have Kamala Harris with a 58-cent stake. Once again, this further supports how people think she's the most likely candidate to be picked because, again, she has a high stake. Coming in second place is Susan Rice, former national security advisor to Barack Obama. Now Lucas can scroll down to the graph, and we can actually show how I think it was pretty competitive at one point. Yeah, July 27th, it was only 9 cents apart, but then Kamala had a spike, and then she's still climbing afterwards. So her likeliness just went from like pretty good to very likely. So as we can see, compared to others, people think she will be elected. That is Susan Rice, and I think the last one is Karen Bass. No, that's Warren.
Yeah, and Bass as well, I believe. Bass and Warren are tied. Bass is getting a lot of buzz recently.
Yeah, I think it's kind of died down, but yeah, there was some trending news about her.
Just some more information on Kamala Harris. She is a person of color. She is half black and she is half Indian. So if Joe Biden's receiving this much pressure to choose a woman of color, in fact, Klobuchar dropped out and told Biden to choose a woman of color. Kamala Harris might be a good pick out there. And that's why we also see Susan Rice, who is also black, at second right now.
Yep.
We're going to now head to what the regional advantages could be here. Kamala Harris is from California. It would be no surprise here that regardless of whether or not Kamala Harris is on this ticket or not, it's going to go for Joe Biden. This is California.
Safe. One of the safest states in the country.
One of the safest states, correct. But let's look at neighboring states. What kind of regional advantage could she bring to the table? Nevada, Joe Biden's likely going to win anyway, but
still considered a swing state.
It is considered a swing state. Polling does show a close race, but polling there does tend to lean to the right. But with Kamala Harris on the ticket, we could see Joe Biden do better than what he already is because it's right next to California. Additionally, we could see Arizona's number tighten up.
Yep. More competitive state than Nevada. Way more competitive.
You can kind of describe Arizona.
Yeah, so this is a new arising battleground state. This actually used to be a pretty heavy Republican area. There are some pretty conservative Republicans in this area. The thing is, recently there have been, more Latino turnout, and Arizona is fairly populated with Latinos who do want to express themselves and do believe in the Black Lives Matter protests, and they sure do not approve of what's going on there with coronavirus. It's not as bad as Florida, but it's one of the smaller hotspots. So especially with those issues stated and the fact that Kamala Harris may become the vice president, there's definitely regional advantage as Arizona does border her home state of California.
Well said. And I think not only will she bring out a regional advantage, but I think it'll also turn out we will also see higher African-American turnout in other states as well. For example, North Carolina, pretty large African-American electorate here. Right now we have it as tilt. Maybe that goes up. Maybe we put it at lead now. Because with an African-American on the ticket, it could kind of motivate people to vote for them. And the same could be said if he chooses someone like Susan Rice or Val Demings. Although Val Demings, not too sure right now. Due to her
experience factor.
Yeah, due to her one experience and her record as police chief. We made a video on that. You can check that out on our channel. But
we can link it in the description.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a tangent, but we could see higher African-American turnout, and that would look pretty good for Joe Biden.
Yep.
Finally, we want to bring our attention to the polls here. No surprise here that Elizabeth Warren is the leading candidate. I mean, it's in I believe in 2016, Elizabeth Warren was also polling very well for vice president. So the polls don't really tell it all the time, but it could show that the American public, or at least a lot of them, do want Elizabeth Warren. However, Kamala Harris is polling, I believe, close second in most of these polls here. So that is, I guess, good for her.
Yeah. I remember we made a video. There was this Twitter. We pulled up a Twitter page with like I don't remember. Yeah, it was like a map regarding how the impact of each vice presidential pick, and Warren had the most because Democrats think that her progressive views, along with Biden's moderate views, could unify the Democratic Party, which is why they really want Elizabeth Warren. Likeliness, not too sure, just because of her age and the fact that she isn't a woman of color. Kamala Harris is just a bit more favorable.
Right. I completely agree with you on that, of the likeliness of Elizabeth Warren being lower than Kamala Harris. So overall, Kamala Harris is polling moderately well. So finally, this is our final section now. Let's compare her chances to some of the other candidates. We start with Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren probably has the least baggage out of the candidates here, but she's not a person of color. So that's not really that great, especially because Biden is receiving a lot of pressure to choose a woman of color. Now, Susan Rice is also
definitely on the table.
Yeah, it's definitely on the table.
Also, woman of color, once again, national security advisor to Obama. Baggage, she said a few things about Benghazi. Some Democrats think it's nothing. Of course, Republicans will definitely try to grill her on that if she becomes VP.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, it's going to be interesting with Susan Rice. Michelle Lujan Grisham. The issue with her is that nearly no one knows her.
Essentially, I was about to say, she is a Latino. Governor of New Mexico, fairly well experienced. That's pretty high on Lucas's tier. So, again, pretty good components. The thing is, just nobody knows her. And that wouldn't look too good on the ticket if no one knows who's on the VP pick or ticket. So that's why polling is pretty low for her.
Demings is another possible candidate. We made a video about her as well. She has a strong regional advantage from the state of Florida, but one, name recognition, not really people know her, and two, she does also have baggage from when she was the police chief. Arguably, it could be less baggage than what Kamala has. Arguably, that could be a fair statement to make. But it's going to be really hard for Biden to choose the right candidate that fulfills, all of these requirements here. Stacey Abrams, well-known, very well-known. Not enough experience, in our opinion. Keisha Lance Bottoms, she's been well-known now as well, but again, not enough experience. Tammy Baldwin, a bit more well-known, but she's not a person of color, and a lot of people, people are pressuring Biden to choose one of color. Cortez Masto dropped out. Tammy Duckworth would be an interesting choice. To my knowledge, she doesn't have any baggage. But the problem would be a possible regional advantage issue due to the fact that she is from Illinois.
A safe state,
A safe state, although it is in the Midwest, so it could help Biden in that Midwest area. Klobuchar dropped out. Gretchen Whitmer, there was
pretty
a lot
unlikely.
of buzz. There was a lot of buzz in the beginning. We have not been hearing buzz anymore about her. So, what's your final takeaway from this, Eric? In my opinion, generally, Harris, yes, she is probably the most likely candidate at the moment. Whether it's a good pick or not, that's up to you guys to interpret this evidence.
Let me put it like this. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up on the ticket, but I also wouldn't be surprised if there's a huge curveball thrown at us. I'll just put it like that.
I agree with you. There really might be a curveball again. Harris has been at the top for a while. Second, in our opinions, for most likely, is Susan Rice. And I think, honestly, third is probably Val Demings. Third is kind of touchy, but anyways, that's the end of it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you like our content, please hit subscribe. We'll see you in our next episode tomorrow.
See ya.
Enjoy the new outro.